This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. But we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 24th of May, 2019, and I am 2J.
I am Tuem.
And I am Miss K, your host. Again, in case you missed it, this is Winning Headlines. Let's take a look at today's headlines. The Star. EICC recovers titled Evidence Against Waititu.
Right.
Daily Nation. Treasury chiefs hid 78 billion shilling budget hole. And The Standard. Dawn raid adds fire to governor's probe.
I think
Wait first, before we begin with the headlines.
Sorry.
Theresa May resigned today, guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's very sad because it wasn't a problem of her own making. She inherited all her problems from Cameron.
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
what do you guys think?
No, whether it's sad or not, I think there's a lesson to learn from it.
Which
Okay.
is?
Smooth transfer of power. You see, they can do that in the UK, they can do that in Australia. Australia has had about, 7 prime ministers in
the past 6 years,
6 years or so. The UK, David Cameron, Theresa May, now who knows, maybe Boris Johnson.
Nope.
Whoever it will be, all right?
Yeah.
But the fact is the transfer of power, people in Manchester or London will not even notice. Some people will not
I
even
know.
notice.
Yeah, Kenyans
But-
need to take note.
Yeah, but here, Africans would be on the street.
Yeah.
Also because of how we have our president chosen, are you trying to imply that we should change our system from a presidential system to
But
a
I think what we can do
parliamentary
is put a spotlight on women. I think we can say here that if you look at the people who they're suggesting will be the next prime minister, of the 5 candidates that they're mentioning right now in the press,
Yeah.
3 of the 5 are women. And when they polled the public to see where the favor was lying, those 3 women held together 60% of the favor.
Wow.
So Boris Johnson only had like 3.5%.
The
So
basic,
they might have another woman-female,
the
a
basic-
female prime minister.
you know, President Uhuru calls
And a
Boris,
glitch there.
President Uhuru calls Boris Johnson the bicycle guy. And I remember when he resigned much earlier, it's because he was priming himself to be prime minister. And I suspect he...
Anyway, not our monkeys, not our
Right?
forests.
I know.
Yes.
Here are our monkeys, though. EACC recovers titles. Evidence against Waititu. Dawn raid adds fire to governor's probe.
So be careful.
Let's talk about Waititu.
I will say instantly, I don't like the headline from The Standard.
Okay.
I felt that it was a bit hard to read.
Yeah.
And without reading everything below it, I didn't know what they were talking about. Dawn raid adds fire to governor's probe. I mean, I feel like you need to put Waititu's name there. I think that's what sells and that's what gives context.
They gave you a really big picture and hope that you'd make that leap between Waititu. He's the governor.
No, ESCC is always in the business of recovering evidence. They have recovered evidence in Samburu, they recovered evidence.
Karen.
Yeah, point is, it is political. How do you explain Kiambu, Waititu, Wairia, Muranga, Tharaka-Nithi, what's his name, Mudhomi Njoke? And all these guys, they all around the deputy president.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So, are you saying that only people who are allied to the deputy president are the guys who are committing these crimes?
We also would like to recall Kimwarer and Aror.
Yeah.
What happened?
I
Yes.
know, we want answers.
We
I'd
want
say
answers.
that
Treasury chiefs hid 78 billion shilling budget probe.
Budget hole.
Hole, sorry.
Yeah.
Whenever I see need like this, I was thinking about
It's
all the probes that I've seen. Because I was feeling like it's very familiar
you
and
see,
normal.
we've been primed.
We've been primed to think this
So,
way.
Tuam, tell us the reality of the story.
The
though.
reality of this is this. In any budget-making process, you always have a deficit, all right? Last year was 74 billion shillings. The other year, God knows how much it was.
In principle budget making or in Kenyan budget making?
Anywhere in the... I don't
just
know.
had to ask.
No, let me speak for Kenya. In Kenya, that is the case.
Yeah.
All right? So I think this is normal. I don't think they were to hide it because in due time we'd be able to see it.
Yeah, I think a better story would have been the nation asking questions, doing
Yes.
analysis, saying
Yeah.
how we can fix it, how we can do better.
And that is exactly where I was going.
In fact-
Last time there was 74 billion shillings. Government charged you 8% VAT for fuel. That's how they were able to discover to reach their budget hole. But now, what you should be telling us is what will happen in the next financial year.
Yeah.
Will government now
Give
have
us
an
predictions.
8%? Will government now add tax on alcohol or stuff? Who knows?
I don't know about telling us about next year, but I feel like this reminds me of yesterday.
Agreed.
Budgeted corruption.
Yes.
Toss it. And on to our next segment, the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country.
So no winning headline.
No.
No winning headline.
No. I don't think there was a way there was going to be a winning headline.
Yeah.
And just like the headlines, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to break down the cartoons for you. We ask ourselves, is the cartoon humorous or is it dry? Is the cartoon satirical or is it pessimistic? And finally, is the cartoon effective or just plain lazy?
Yes. This is Ozone.
The star.
And I agree with him.
You agree with him?
Before
Okay,
I tell you why I agree with him, let me explain the cartoon. Caricature of William Ruto. This time he's not crying.
In fact, he's very determined.
Yes, and he's determined to stop a Tanga Big Shoe from stepping on
The head
bananas and the head of Matiang'i. Right?
On a banana peel.
Banana peels, because the banana peels are information is written Kisii votes. Okay. Now, I think the reason he agrees with us, not that I agree with him,
Okay.
is because I told you I do not think it is in. I think William Ruto's intention is to let the impeachment of Matiang'i to go on. And therefore, the big shoe for Tanga will just push
too big
Ruto.
for Ruto.
It's too big for Ruto.
Yeah. Okay, you guys know how I feel about Ozone. I don't hide it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the cartoon, but I think that once you get into it, there's something good here. He's getting better.
So
We
what
can
you want us
work
to
on
do,
it.
bench it, because you think that...
Parking bay.
No, we toss it. All right. The Nation.
But I know you like this.
No, this one I love. Oh, this is fantastic.
Because this agrees with what we've always said.
Yeah.
It's a show. I'm telling
It's a show.
Friday arrest.
Yeah.
Bring the cameras.
Headlines
see what
that
we
look
did.
bought. Yeah.
Yeah. Before you go any further, let me give you context.
All right.
It's a
Also,
show. Yeah.
The Ferris wheel, always moving, taking us nowhere.
Good.
Arrests, but no convictions.
Yes.
Take number.
All right,
Yeah.
2M, tell us about the...
So context is caricature of DPP Nurdin Haji,
The director.
Director, and he's sitting on director's chair. There's a camera right above him, and then Kinoti with the mic, the big mic. And then you have Tulip Barak, the EACC honcho.
Clapper.
All right, he's a guy who does he claps that thing, you know. And then the caption of that action
Clapper,
thing, the
yeah.
clapper, is arrest but no convictions. Take number 134. Take times. So the number of times the takes has happened is 134 times.
Tried and failed.
Yes. And who's a star? Who's the actor?
Oh, for this particular take of this series, never-ending series, it feels like those neighbors soap operas that run on a daily basis.
Ferdinand
but
Waitito.
who's the actor?
Governor
Waitito.
Waitito.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. And Ozone, Ndula agrees with us.
He got it 100%.
I completely agree. I like this.
Yeah.
It's humorous.
Yes.
It's effective.
Yes.
It's on the money.
It's on the
yeah.
money.
It's
So
on the
I
money.
say put it in the parking bay. Let's see what
but
Gado has.
before we move, realize that all these guys have red ties.
Okay.
So it means they are taking instructions from somewhere.
The big red tie wearer himself.
All right, 2M.
Finally, let us see what
Gado.
Gado has for us.
Caricature, it's Gado. Caricature of Sebastian Mikos. That's correct?
Yes.
CEO of KQ, Kenya Airways. And behind him is a crashed KQ plane. And there's so many things. The debris reads bad attitude, more bad service, crooked contracts.
7.5 billion loss.
KQ Arrogance Manual, my personal favorite.
Yeah. But how much money did he take home?
It's alleged, or rather we know, that he took home almost 63 million last year.
Good job.
That was an average of 5.2 million.
Good job
a
to
month.
him.
Good job to him.
If you can negotiate such a salary, kudos
fantastic.
to you.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But also note the way he's posing, like
In
this
front
is
of the camera.
smile for the camera, a flash.
I don't blame him.
And I agree with you.
I blame ourselves. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to withdraw my argument a little bit from privatization. And you can call me a pendulum if you wish.
Yes, people who swing.
But-
Today,
but-
privatize,
To have the pendulum.
privatize. Tomorrow, Don't privatize.
But before you call me one, let me say why.
Okay.
Look at our neighbors. You have Ethiopia, you have Rwanda, and not too far up there, on top of Ethiopia, you have Egypt, you've got Emirates, you've got Qatar. All these they are state-run airlines, right? They are making profits. Ethiopia is the largest airline by far in Africa, right? They have, I think, a fleet of about almost 80 planes. KQ, we have 30, and only 7, I think, probably belong to them. There is something that Gado is telling us here. The moment we sort out little linkages, how we pack our planes, the fuel cost of our planes, you know, the fuel cost of, I mean, so many costs, we bring them down. KQ will be on the path of profitability. But as of now, in the current business environment, they cannot
So what
survive.
you're saying, and why you're saying you're retracting your previous argument, is because you are pro-privatization. You think the government needs to get out of things that they should not be in.
No. I am saying government should.
No, exactly. Wait,
No,
let me
your
finish.
general
That is your general argument. But
Yes.
today you are suggesting that in this instance, the government should get into running KQ.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Fair enough. I do agree with 2M. I do also congratulate Mikos for the money he's made. It's a private company. He did what he went to do.
Yeah. Am I still a pendulum?
Oh, you swing like nobody's business. Grandpa clock, including the whole outfit.
All right. So now,
I know you like it.
Final thought. Oh, yes. We have a winning cartoon, and I agree.
Now you've
Victor
thrown-
Dula.
yes. So do we agree that
Yes,
this is
yes, I agree. This is our winning cartoon.
Yes.
fantastic?
And
What is our final thought?
we have forgotten to say something.
What?
That the arrest of Ferdinand Tito is like a fish. It's a fish riding bicycle. A fish, a fish without a bicycle. Meaning, it is.
Help me, please.
There is no relation. It is happening out of nowhere.
Okay.
Okay, I get it now.
All right. 2M, take us to the end.
Now, our final thought. All right. It is a book entitled The Myth of Sisyphus by Albeka Miu, not Albeka Kamusi, like you said. All right. And the myth of Sisyphus is from Greek mythology.
Greek mythology.
Correct? And it's a story. And I will read it. Right? Sisyphus annoyed the gods and was punished to roll a heavy stone up a hill all day. And just before it settled at the peak, the heavy stone would snap and roll back down. Sisyphus had to roll the stone up again. But once at the top, it would snap and roll back down again. He did this all his life. Right? There's a reason I read that story, but I want you to explain it.
Yeah, so I think we need to explain two things. So yes, we are reading a book called The Myth of Sisyphus by Albeka Miu.
And other essays.
And other essays.
Yeah.
But however, the myth of Sisyphus is a story in Greek mythology.
Yes.
So he's taken this myth and he has made it the title of this book in where he discusses the absurdity. So the central concern of this book is what Camus calls the absurd.
Yeah.
He claims that there is a fundamental conflict between what we want from the universe, we want meaning, structure, order, and what we find in the universe, which he calls formless chaos.
Yes.
So the book is made up of 4 chapters.
Yes.
The absurd reasoning, the absurd man, absurd creation, and then in the final chapter he addresses the myth of Sisyphus.
Yes.
And so we can say that Camus is a realist.
Okay.
He suggests that we will never find in life itself the meaning that we want to find.
Yes.
We either take a leap of faith by placing our hopes in God or just accept that life is meaningless. And so therefore he asks this question. If we conclude that life is indeed meaningless, does it mean that life is not worth living at all? So he says, should we just go and commit suicide? But in the end, his conclusion is that we can accept the absurdity of life and live in a world devoid of meaning and purpose and be happy. So he then goes into the book, The Myth of Sisyphus, and he says that he's interested in Sisyphus for the following reason. I'll read a quote. He says, it is during that return when Sisyphus is marching back down the hill. It is during that return, that pause, that Sisyphus interests me. I see that man going back down with a heavy yet measured heart, step towards torment of which he will never know the end. And so he says that Sisyphus must struggle perpetually without the hope of success. And he says that so long as he can accept that there is nothing more in life than this absurd struggle, then maybe, just maybe, Sisyphus can find happiness in all of it.
I know that today, too, you are violently opposed to this book. Do you want to go through that?
I'm not. You know what? I like the idea of absurdity, right?
I thought you questioned it.
Today
you're swinging so much.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I like the idea of absurdity.
Okay.
And the absurdity is the tumbles, right? And in my view, the absurdity is a deficit of expectations, okay? Now, the reason I'm against this theory of appreciating and taking in the absurdity is because I think there's something beyond that. And I think that taking in the absurdity is imprisoning the mind. Your mind is in shackles, okay? Because if you're telling me Sisyphus rolls up that ball up the hill, and then it comes back down, and then you tell him that that repeated action of up, down, should be appreciated because he's condemned, then I disagree with you.
What should Sisyphus do?
What he should
to
do,
hell with this, turn and walk away.
What he should do in his imprisonment, he should grab the book called The Alchemist. and the reason he should do that is because the little boy called Santiago, when he went from his rural home in Spain to Egypt, and he went through the conning, and he went through the robbing, and he went through everything else, he realized that his purpose and the treasure he was looking for was back in Spain.
Yeah.
All right? The absurdities he went through, he did not say that now because I cannot find my treasure,
Okay, but
I will continue working in the crystal shop. He said, I will go back and find my purpose and the treasure. And he found it.
Okay, so here's the thing. The whole point of this book is not to question what you're talking about in particular, to find purpose in the place where you originally left it, as Santiago did. What this guy is essentially doing is questioning the meaning of life, which is something we all do as human beings. We want to know, and that's something deep inside of us, why we're here in this world, what I'm here to do, and while I'm here, what I'm doing, does it matter? It's a question we all grapple with. So he then says, if I'm questioning life, then I also have to question suicide and death. Because if I'm saying that there's this absurdity, this conflict between what I want life to give me, which is tell me my purpose, and what life cannot give me, which it cannot give me that purpose, then I have to say I have two options. I do what he calls a philosophical suicide. I believe in God, which I think is the place I fell in. When I went the philosophical way, I believe in God. Or you do part two, because life is meaningless, I kill myself. But he says, no, there's a third one. The third option is acknowledge life is meaningless. It will never give me any purpose. It will not show me my meaning. But even in that purposelessness, I accept it. So he picks the myth of Sisyphus for this very reason. Sisyphus is an immortal being. Do not forget that. At no point does he die. He's an immortal being who has been given this task of taking this stone. It goes up the hill.
And
once
it's not a task, it was a punishment.
Once he gets to the crest, the thing rolls back down. Now here's the point where he says, this is the point he says he wants us to get to. Sisyphus exercises free will. And that's what you're rejecting. So Sisyphus picks himself. He decides it. He acknowledges this task I'm doing is essentially meaningless. I'm going to essentially do it forever. But you know what? I will keep doing it regardless. I will pick up this stone knowing full well I will never make it and come back down with it. And in that, being able to embrace this reality that he has, that this is my mountain, this is my boulder, this is my life.
There's an interesting quote
he finds value.
He says, it's in that tragic moment when the hero becomes conscious of his wretched condition that he finds happiness.
So that is the point of the book. When he accepts of his own free will that this is my punishment, this is my life, guess what? I will do it.
And I actually like what you've said. And I want to quote something she said. And it is within the realm of, we will never find in life itself the meaning that we want to find. And then there's a point where he says that you don't fight absurdity, you accept it. And absurdities to me, as I understood it, and I said it, it is the deficit of expectations. What you expected of the universe is not what the universe gave you. Now, are you telling me that I should be shackled, right, by these absurdities and say, because it's still happening to me, I'll accept it and continue rolling the ball up? Or are you telling me that I should see beyond the absurdities.
2J, tell us what you're trying to tell us.
I think
as we
an
conclude.
interesting way that we can ground it is taking this myth of Sisyphus, the story of what he had to do, that punishment he got, and ground it in our everyday lives. So if we say that Monday to Friday, the work week, is us pushing the stone up the hill. You come into work on Monday, you have to slog, you have to move, you have to work, and you push the stone up slowly until Friday. Then the weekend comes, the stone rolls back down the hill. It's in that moment, as you walk down to start and come back to work Monday morning, it's in that moment that you need to
reflect.
You need to reflect. You need to take a moment. He says you take with a heavy heart and knowing that the torment is about to come. That you accept.
It is coming.
You never know who your master is on Monday.
You accept that the torment. You accept the absurdity of life, but you need to take that moment to reflect. And I think that is something we would want to ask our fellow Kenyans to do. Today is Friday, work is about to end. As we go into the weekend, reflect upon your life and say which of those three options do you want to take? Do you want to accept life? Do you want to move into death? Do you want to commit suicide? But I think the ultimate point is that we should find hope in life.
And that's the whole point.
When the rock comes down.
And the rock is coming down currently, clearly in your life right now as we speak. This is Winning Headlines. Today we had no winning headline, but we did have a winning cartoon from the Daily Nation, Victor. As you take time off for the weekend, as your stone comes down, realize that even in this mundane life that we live, run of the mill, always doing the same thing over and over and over again, you can always find meaning and purpose. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday.